Good morning everyone, I'm here with the Mini Cooper E with the small battery, 36.6 kWh battery, and today we're going to do a range test at 130 kilometers an hour. After that a little charging test and then 110 kilometers an hour. I charged this car overnight to 100%, preheated in the morning, so the cabin, not the battery, but on the drive here I preheated the battery because BMW typical. You can navigate to a charger or you can do it manually as well. I arrived here with around 80%, get 23 kilowatt at 89%, which is okay, but it tells me another half hour to 100%, so we'll see how far we will charge. The car has a heat pump, has 17-inch winter tires on, 195s, so we'll see if we charge to 95% or 100 and then we go. Looking forward, we're not going to go far with a 36.6 kWh battery. Car is front wheel drive, 184 horsepower, so we'll see. But it's going to be fun. I am on my way, yeah! I'm driving 132 cause that's 130 GPS. I'm sorry for the shaking, the car is bumpy as we expected. Here you can see the beautiful head-up display, and this is the big speedometer where you can see the power, state of charge as a number. In this car you can have it, but I don't have adaptive cruise control and I don't have steering assist. So I have to steer myself and the car is driving the 132 spot on without any changes if there's a car in front of me or not. I charged to 94%. Because at 92 the charging power went down to 7 kilowatt and it said another hour to charge, and I said no, so I waited another 2% and then I left. So 94 is our charging start charging state of charge. There we have it. I reset my trip and I'm in green mode. So the power for the heat is reduced and the power for the motor is reduced, so the least consumption. And this was uphill now. Now finally we're over the hill. Now it goes a bit downhill. My God, this is bumpy. And I'm guessing we'd only drive around 130 kilometers or 140, something like this. I'm gonna drive to 53%, maybe 55, and then we turn around. Cause oh my God, and again, sorry for the shakiness, but it's unbelievably shaky in here. Oh my God, oh, so bumpy this thing. And I'm not in go-kart mode. I don't think that it has suspension that changes with the drive mode, really not. My heat is on 22 degrees. I left the heat on while I was charging, so it doesn't have to heat up the battery. I will heat up the cabin while I'm driving here. It was already warm, but on the way back to the charger, I will preheat the battery. So I will navigate to the charger, so it preheats the battery because I'm doing a charging test. And when you do a long distance trip with this car in the winter, you will navigate to a charger and want the battery warm, so you know that. And if it's all about range, what you want to know, then you just add a few kilometers, but not a lot. I have used 25% of my battery. This is my average consumption, and I drove 43 kilometers. And if I calculate it right, that should be 172 kilometers. That's more than I thought it would do. I'm surprised. That's good. That's really good. I thought it would be 150 or less even. 172 kilometers of full range, and the first 10 kilometers were uphill. So it would be a bit more at the end because we're going then downhill. That's awesome. Average consumption 22.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That is also not bad for now 3 degrees when we started 0 degrees and driving 130 GPS with the heat on 22 degrees. And I'm comfortable. By the way, the seat heater, I have it always on in the morning. It warms up the seat, but you don't get very warm. Even with a thin jacket, you barely notice it. It's not amazing, really not. Steering wheel heater is good, but seat heater is not amazing. And the seats are a bit hard, but we talk about it in a second. I'm gonna navigate back to the charger soon because I wanna see what state of charger will arrive. And I have to calculate what I don't even have this in my sheet with the kilometers where I go out, because the minimum is 200 kilometers. So I will have to look at Google Maps later what the kilometers are for real this time. I turned around after 72 kilometers and I calculated from 94 to 10%, which what we had at 25% used. I should be able to drive 144 kilometers, so it should be spot on. But there's preheating of the battery, but the 10 kilometers downhill at the end. The navigation thinks I will arrive with 9%, tells me there are 4 chargers available from 6, what kilometers and everything. The navigation is pretty good. I like it. You don't see it right there. You have to press here a button and then you see everything. Road works. Now it thinks 8%, but I had 8% before, then it changed to 9. So it's flipping around. I hope that it doesn't go under the 8. That would be nice. That would be really nice. And consumption is still 22.6, so around that number. We have, it tells me when I am out of navigation, it tells me when I will arrive here. I see the navigation in the head-up display, so when there's nothing going on, I just see in 66 kilometers I have to do something. And then when it's just a kilometer away or something, then I see actually the road, or on top, take this exit with this name and everything. So the head-up display shows a lot of info, which is great. But in here it also tells me if I want to charge or something in 500 meters. I don't. I have that turned off, by the way, that it does the planning for the chargers, but you can use it, of course. But I don't want it to, because even if I arrive with 6%, I wanna be able to drive normally. What does it say now? Still 8. So 30 minutes for 64 kilometers. That's the stuff. So 30 minutes, and we have driven so far 37 minutes. So 67 minutes driving time for a range test. That's the stuff. Efficient. How is the Mini Cooper on the highway when you drive 130? And it's mixed. So on the highway is better road than a country road, so the bumpiness is not as bad. But you feel even when it goes up and down a bit. The car, it feels like it has no suspension at all. It's so sporty. But on the highway it's acceptable still. Now when it's a bad highway, oh my god. Loudness level at 130 I find totally okay. totally cool with it. I like the navigation. The steering is nice. It's not steering in weird way. The cruise control, there's nothing I can say because it can't do anything except for hold the speed. I even have lane departure warning on because it's not that horrible. So it's, even if it does something, it's not horrible, and it's on a country road. It's not annoying me, so I have it on all the time. I only turn the speed limit warning off, and you can just do this with pressing set on the steering wheel for a second when you drive on. Really nice. Overall, yes, the drive modes and everything, this screen here around. My problem with it is that I cannot see a lot of information at the same time. I cannot even see my state of charge. I have to press something and then I see I'm at 42%, and then if I want navigation I have to press something else, and if I want my driving data again. So I only can see one thing except for the speed, which is and the range. That's a bit sad. So this is not my thing. The state of charge went down so fast, so I forgot the 50%, but at 57% used, I drove 94 kilometers, so I get to 165 kilometers of full range. Consumption is at 22.5 now. It still thinks I arrived with 5%, so I'm very happy. And I still have the 10 kilometers downhill, so I'm counting on them. And in this drive, 10 kilometers is a lot. That's not 10%, but that's a bit, that's like 7-8% of the whole drive downhill, where my consumption is extremely low. And soon there's a speed limit where I have to drive 130, so I have to slow down by 3 kilometers an hour. Maybe I need that today. Do you want to charge for free? Of course you do. And how can you do that? With Encharge. Encharge is an app. You install it on your phone, and when you are at a charger, you rate the charger. You give information to Encharge about the charger. Can you charge with a camper attached? I don't know, can you get food? Are there toilets and stuff like this? And Encharge is so happy about this information. It gives you kilometers and stars, and these you can exchange for charging credit. A new feature in Germany and France, you can use the app itself to start charging at a charger. How amazing is that? Use the link in the description below to get 20 kilometers to start with. I arrived with 3%. I have turtle mode. Oh my god. Average consumption, kilometers driven, and the time. Yeah, that was stressful because it said 9% and 8% and 7% how I arrived, and then suddenly it jumped down to 4% and then even to 2%, and I was and I saw the state of charge going down, and that's why I arrived with 3%, but I drove 130 instead of 132, and then I was happy about the speed limit here of 100, and I turned the heat off 5 minutes before I arrived and everything, and the downhill helped a lot. That was necessary. I calculated the range and I get to 156 kilometers under these conditions, 0 to 3 degrees, winter tires, heat on 22, even turned down the heat at some point to 21 degrees too. It was fine. I'm charging right now, and it told me around 40 minutes when I arrived to the 80%. Now at 20%, it still thinks 34 minutes or so to 80%. And when I charge to 80%, I'm going to do the range test with 110 kilometers now, which with this battery makes way more sense. I will do a long distance trip with this car, not 600 kilometers, but around 400. And I have to use a better route planner to see what the best speed is, because it only charges with a peak of 75 kilowatt. And I have to see 130 might be too fast for the battery size and the consumption to the charging power. So I might have to, maybe it's 115 or 120 is better. I have to see, I have to calculate. Like I said, a better route planner is amazing for that. But charge to the 80%, do the next test. If you want to compare range results with other cars, there's a link in the description to a Google spreadsheet where all my range tests are in there with every speed that I do, and also my long distance trip tests are also in there. That's awesome. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, and if you want to support the channel, you can do that here on YouTube via channel membership. You get early access to videos and special information if something pops up. My members get that first. And if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, I'm vlogging on my third channel, Behind the Battery. So all everyday life, how the tests are, and if something is happening that I think is not interesting for the main channel. But that's it for me. Thank you much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.